Hello, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon and good evening, depending where you are. So, we have started to bring you news following the Niger coup. We have reported yesterday and also last night. We have live streamed, we analyzed the coup and the regional statements issued by ECOWAS and the African Union and what should be done. But also now there seems to be a development related to Niger coup. So I am bringing you here in this live stream two things. One, that Niger has reportedly stopped exporting gold and uranium to France. This came in response to France or President Emmanuel Macron's threatening Niger to use force unless they reinstate the ousted president who was an ally to France. So just to give you a perspective, Niger supplies 15% of uranium in France. It accounts 15% of uranium for France, and also 25% of uranium is supplied to Europe, meaning that from the total uranium that's imported by Europe, 25% of it comes from Niger, and also gold as well. The uranium companies that are also exporting uranium from Niger to France is, you have to know, it's mostly owned by the French company. 65 or almost 65% of Niger's uranium is owned by a French company. So now this Niger has reportedly stopped exporting gold and uranium in response to Macron's threatening Niger to use force unless they bring back the ousted president who is an ally for France. Now, the second news that I'm going to bring you is, remember, those of you who have been here in our live stream yesterday with Kwame, one of the things, as that we suggested as a solution was that for the neighboring countries like Mali, Burkina Faso, who have gone through the same that now Niger is going through. These leaders, they came the same way in coup. They took power from previous governments and they have been sanctioned, and they are still sanctioned by ECOWAS, the African Union, and all parts of, globally also by the West. Now, we suggested that the first suggestion was for them to work together, countries like Mali, Burkina Faso, to some extent Guinea Conakry, because some say that coup is kind of hijacked. So, but for them to work together. And the second thing that we suggested was those Pan-African leaders now who are voicing and who are talking openly about the neo-colonialism in the continent have to, regardless of the statements by the RECs, regional economic commissions in the continent, and then regardless of the statement by the African Union itself, to reach out and to give hand for this state, and to be able to listen to what are the people of Niger actually saying. So that is the second thing that we suggest. So it looks like that our first suggestion is kind of implemented, because a few hours ago, the presidents, now the leaders of Mali and Burkina Faso actually have vowed to defend Niger. This is in response to ECOWAS statement, which gave Niger only 1 week to seek power, and if not, then ECOWAS said they will apply force, or they will use force. Which is an intervention, but not all intervention is good. So this is like invasion of Niger. So this I'm gonna go in detail what this statements by Burkina Faso and Mali is saying. Let me read it so one by one. So the transitional governments of Burkina Faso and Mali learned through the press of the conclusion of the extraordinary summits of the Economic Community of Western African States, which is ECOWAS, and the West African Economic and Monetary Union, which is known as in its acronym UEMOA, held on July 30 in Abuja on the political situation of Niger. So this is what they said together, meaning the transitional governments of Burkina Faso and Mali. Number one, they expressed their fraternal solidarity and that of the peoples of Burkina Faso and Mali with the brotherly people of Niger, who have decided in full responsibility to take their destiny into their own hands and to assume before history the fullness of their sovereignty. The second part of their press release denounces, so they denounce the persistence of these regional organizations in imposing sanctions, aggravating the suffering of the population and jeopardizing the spirit of Pan-Africanism. You remember that what he said, this young transitional leader of Burkina Faso during the Russia-Africa summit. Now, number three of their press release of Mali and Burkina Faso in defending Niger, this is what they say. We refuse to apply this illegal, illegitimate, and inhuman sanctions against the people and authorities of Niger. Number four says they warn that any military intervention against Niger would amount to declaration of war against Burkina Faso and Mali. They're saying they are standing together. Number five, they say they warn that any military intervention against Niger would result in the withdrawal of Burkina Faso and Mali from ECOWAS, as well as the adoption of self-defense measures in support of the armed forces and the people of Niger. At last, in this press release, Mali and Burkina Faso, they warn against the disastrous consequences of a military intervention in Niger, which could destabilize the entire region, as was the unilateral NATO intervention in Libya, which was the origin of the expansion of terrorism in the Sahel and West Africa. So the transitional governments of Burkina Faso and Mali are deeply indignant and surprised by the imbalance observed between, on the one hand, the celerity and the adventurous attitude of certain political leaders in West Africa wishing to use arms. So this is the press release by Burkina Faso and Mali. So at last, in any case, it says the transitional government of Burkina Faso and Mali invite the living forces to be ready and mobilized in order to lend a hand to the people of Niger in their dark hours of Pan-Africanism. May God bless Africa and preserve the Africans. That's what it says. So just to give you a bit of a background, a perspective, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Guinea-Conakry, they came to power by coup d'etat. Now, these people, they came to power because they protested against the continued French colonization or the neo-colonization by France in Western African countries. So they are freeing their own people. But then the other things you have to look at is there are also other countries like Chad, like also many, not only in West Africa, like Egypt, but the African Union have banned Mali, Burkina Faso, and Guinea from their membership. But the son of the previous president of Chad also came in the same way. So that should have been also, if the AU was really in balance with this or fair, should have also banned the president of Chad. But of course, this is not the case. Also, coup d'etats have happened in other parts of the continent, like Egypt. But the thing is that simply when the coup d'etat in Africa is backed by the West, the AU just zip its mouth and just support and welcomes it with rolling red carpet. But when it is not backed by the West, then they open their mouths and they ban these people. They do the same thing, sanctioning and banning traveling, exporting, importing, like all kinds of things. The same thing what the West is doing against Africa. I mean, there should have been, if it's really a Pan-African institution, AU, they should have taught really what is the sound. I'm not here to support any coup, but the people of Niger are, as I said yesterday, in master of their destination. AU has to, or ECOWAS, any regional organizations there, have to listen what are the people of Niger say. If anything, if they don't want this transitional government that came through coup, then they should be the one who are going to fight it, not any other. So that is the main thing I wanted to bring you. So Niger has stopped. Of course, I know the Western media are going to get away with this, but this came in response to France threatening to apply force in Niger. And then the other thing is Burkina Faso and Mali is standing together with Niger and to defend Niger from ECOWAS invasion or in ECOWAS's intervention. That's it for now. So whenever there's any development, we come here and we analyze it. This is really getting a hit. We cannot let any other African country again fail, because of this kind of neo-colonialism. We all should be alerted and, get the information, try to balance it, not just to get away or to carry it away what with the Western media is feeding us. They're bringing their own agenda. So stay tuned. Thank you very much for those of you who have tuned now. Bye-bye, and we will keep on informing you. Please, for a detailed analysis of the Niger coup, I'm gonna put it in the comment section and pin it. Please look at myself and Kwame what we did last night. So until the next one, bye-bye.